Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is now just 2 weeks away from its official release by Disney, Lucasfilm, J.J. Abrams, and even creator George Lucas. That is all set and ready to end the Skywalker saga and the sequel trilogy itself. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about Episode 9 that a lot of fans are very worried about is exactly how J.J. Abrams is going to utilize all the different revelations, the twists and turns in this movie, and based on all the different changes and adjustments that Disney and Lucasfilm went through, specifically for the ending of Episode 9 during the months of August, September, and October, where even J.J. Abrams talked about the reshoots a couple of days ago over on Good Morning America, that reshoots went all the way up until the month of October, which really is a big deal. And we also had last-minute changes to the movie in November where they were resetting specific scenes, taking ones out, putting new ones in from the initial cut of Episode 9. And what's really unfortunate has all to do with the ending of this movie that is going to portray the fans based on specific Star Wars lore and what could have been from the initial cut of the movie that did not make the final cut. Now, specifically, what's really unfortunate and intriguing about this is that it's explained that through many of the reshoots and rewrites of the film, it's explained that Disney and Lucasfilm went through many changes and adjustments for the film to restructure the entire plot and to adjust the second and third acts of the movie that would cater to a general audience, more so that it would perform better at the box office. It's explained that one of the sequences in the film that were drastically changed by Disney and Lucasfilm had to do with the ending of the film and its final frames, and that the final ending of the movie in its current cut of the film is actually said to be far different than what it was originally going to be used as. It's explained that before Disney and Lucasfilm made major changes to the ending of the movie, it said that originally the Force ghosts of Obi-Wan, Anakin, Yoda, Luke, and Leia, and even Ben Solo were going to watch over Rey on the world of Tatooine. It's explained that this scene was written and directed by George Lucas, and that the scene was deleted from the current version of the film that would have involved a cameo of Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, Hayden as Anakin Skywalker, and even the puppet of Yoda as Yoda's Force Ghost, with Luke and Leia as well by Carrie Fisher, and Mark Hamill and Adam Driver as Ben Solo's Force Ghost, all grouped together watching over Rey with her friends on Tatooine near the Lars homestead watching the binary sunset. In this cut of the film, Rey did not call herself a Skywalker, and that Rey decided to carry the Skywalker legacy only through her training and knowledge. It's described that this entire scene was changed and replaced, deleted essentially, with a new scene where there are now only Force ghosts of Luke and Leia, nobody else watching over Rey, where Ben Solo's fate is said to be left ambiguous and a big mystery on whether or not he became a Force ghost. Where in the final version, Rey calls herself now Rey Skywalker and takes the Skywalker name for herself, and the meaning of the title of the film is all about Rey calling herself a Skywalker. Also, it's explained that the original ending that was deleted was said to have a brand new Skywalker theme by John Williams that was also deleted from the final cut of the film, where it said that this theme was originally meant for Ben Solo, claiming to be Ben Solo Skywalker at the end of the film, where now the title is handed over to Rey, who is not related to Luke, Anakin, or Leia. The original ending of the film was also going to feature a specific sequence of Luke and Anakin's Force ghosts interacting with Rey and helping her build her very own lightsaber in a cave on Tatooine, where that is actually said to have now been changed to only the Force ghost voices of both Luke and Leia guiding Rey to developing a brand new lightsaber in the movie by destroying Anakin and Leia's lightsabers. These changes and adjustments were mainly done by Kathleen Kennedy and Disney to create a different tone for the film that would perform better at the box office, that would center on the general audience that sees the film on December 19th of this year once it arrives in theaters. The film's ending is now said to be no longer have the Skywalker theme, but a brand new Rey theme at the very end of Episode 9. So let's go over a couple of parts about this and why this really does betray the fans. Now, obviously this would have been a more heartwarming moment at the very end of Episode 9 if they pretty much stuck with the original ending before they switched over to the current ending of The Rise of Skywalker. Now, the thing about this is that originally we were going to have the Force ghosts of Anakin, Leia, Luke, Kenobi, Yoda, etc., watching over Rey, including the Force ghost of Ben Solo. So, if you guys have been following, there is going to be a segment in the film in which Ben Solo dies by getting thrown into a bottomless pit by Palpatine, never to be seen again, and now in the final cut, his death is not going to be fully explained. Basically, you're going to be left wondering, is he a Force ghost? Is he not a Force ghost? What's going on with that? And the ending of the movie is essentially going to have Luke and Leia watching over Rey, where the original version of the movie was going to have Luke, Leia, Anakin, Yoda, Kenobi, and even Ben Solo all grouped together watching over Rey with her friends at the Lars homestead, looking at the binary sunset with a brand new Skywalker theme that was going to be created by John Williams. And that was actually going to have all to do with Ben Solo being now Ben Solo Skywalker, and essentially that would be the Skywalker rising, essentially becoming one with the Force. Now, what I think about this is actually that this major decision by Disney and Lucasfilm is not for the best for a lot of fans out there. Obviously, a lot of fans would have loved to actually seen more Force ghosts on Tatooine that are associated with the Skywalker family, and even explaining exactly whether or not Ben Solo made it to, transferring his consciousness to the netherworld of the Force or not. That's all going to be ambiguous right now, and even the Skywalker theme that John Williams worked on has also been deleted from the film. So, there was also going to be an original sequence where both Luke and Anakin Skywalker's Force Ghost would guide Rey to building her very own lightsaber inside of a cave on Tatooine. That was also deleted to where it is now diminished down to only the voices of Luke and Leia telling her how to construct her very own lightsaber, and that is all done by destroying Anakin and Leia's new lightsaber in this movie and combining it into her very own new saber design. So basically, the Skywalker legacy is basically restructured in this film, where the Skywalker name now applies to Rey, and the Skywalker sabers will be destroyed and crafted into Rey's new lightsaber. So I don't know, this is definitely going to divide the fans without a doubt, I believe so, because when we look at what happened with The Last Jedi, where it got split into two, a lot of fans had a problem with that. Now, they brought the Skywalker saber back because it's repaired, only for it to be destroyed again by Rey, no less, to construct her very own saber. So that's one thing that I think a lot of fans are going to have issues with in this movie, without a doubt. Now, let's go over to Tatooine. Now, Tatooine is said to be the main focus still in the final cut of the movie, but obviously it's a drastic change in comparison to the initial cut of Episode 9, which I honestly think it's a bad decision by Disney and Lucasfilm to completely disregard, cameos by Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, and Frank Oz reprising the role as Yoda, and having Luke and Leia's Force Ghost besides those characters, and even Ben Solo's, Force Ghost being a part of that scene, have all been deleted. And I think the fact that they deleted that was a big mistake and just proves the incompetence of Kathleen Kennedy and Disney, and the fact that they don't really know exactly what to do with the Star Wars franchise and what a real Star Wars moment would really be. Honestly, that would have been a more proper send-off of the Skywalker saga than what we have right now, to be honest with you guys, at least in my point of view. That would have been a better ending than what we have currently, where Rey calls herself a Skywalker, and that there are only going to be two Force Ghosts watching over Rey. That is, of course, only Luke and Leia, nothing more than that, just Luke and Leia. And there's going to be no sign of Ben Solo's survival, no sign of Ben Solo's Force Ghost or anything around those lines, no voice, no visuals. You're just going to have to leave yourself wondering on whether or not Ben Solo is a part of the netherworld. And that, I think, is just wrong. I just feel like that kind of breaks tradition. He actually redeemed himself, to becoming a Jedi once again, fighting Palpatine, protecting Rey, only for him to not become a Force Ghost, or leaving that very ambiguous at the very end of the movie, is just a big mistake by Disney and Lucasfilm, and I can't believe that they did that. So this movie, 14 days away, 2 weeks out. A lot of fans are getting very worried and very nervous about how it's going to look on the big screen, how it's going to resonate with themselves, and exactly how it really is going to just be as an overall Star Wars film, and how it's going to also connect to the past 8 Star Wars movies. So with that being said, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to